A storm is coming.
Reporting live from Baltimore, not the county, Baltimore, the real Baltimore, Baltimore City. You have Chelsea Nicole, and I know a lot of y'all do shows from Baltimore, but today you're gonna find out that you're not. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Chelsea. I come from a city where we don't acknowledge the state. The B shit is took that in place. Watch how you speak about Baltimore, dummy. Wear had 990s all on your face. No matter the city, they all wanna know about the wire and killings all over the news. These bitches digging out Xing on my niggas. Dick keep on Xing if they can say T. I'm trying to tell them, Baltimore ain't even Baltimore. DC is not even on the road. I play Virginia so much, get them shot while I'm on the road. Counties be claiming they honorable. I try to tell them to chill. Yeah, I try to tell them for real. Yeah, you can take me out of Baltimore, but I'ma still bring that Baltimore here. 4 wings, salt and pepper, ketchup with the hot sauce. Can't sit long, shit get you knocked off. Always play mirrors, shit get you swiped off. We get them cooked up, chefs out, eyeball. Bitches is claiming that they from the city. Damn, I just can't help that we litty. If you really from the city, who that red bitch over east? On B, she get busy. K-Swift Baltimore, Club Mix Baltimore. We don't do go-go, we know they ain't Baltimore. Them niggas dragging, must be from Baltimore. Them bitches bad, oh they from Baltimore. 92Q on that radio, Baltimore. We hit them with the 2-step giving Baltimore. They from security, no they ain't Baltimore. Anyway, it's everybody versus Baltimore. You from the west, that shit is Baltimore. Park Heights, the Avenue, that shit is Baltimore. Junction, the village, that shit is Baltimore. Sandtown is rapping and stepping, is Baltimore. Pikesville and PG, nah, that ain't Baltimore. You from the north, that shit is Baltimore. Grandma and Cater, your road, Baltimore. Anyway, it's everybody versus Baltimore. Nah, I can't study the wire to work on my exit. Fuck out of here, niggas actors. I'm born and raised in the city. They drop a body and niggas act like nothing happened. For Freddie, we riot. It's up if they try us. How the fuck outstates attorney indicted? One thing about this whole city be wildin'. Bippin' the act or haunted when rotting. Know it's they strengths if the party is poppin'. Gotta hit legends for the chicken boxes. Check Murder Inc. if you think they ain't slotting. Damn, even the youngest is bout it. But man, now rap with the talent, they think we ain't got it. Just want us known for the violence. City make hustlers, grind and get it from the bottom. 10 toes, my niggas solid. Was raised in the county, they rap so they claim in the city. What school you was in? Elementary. Crossing that county line, you looking iffy. You get the best shot or shot when that Jimmy's. Hit up the block if we all trying to see us some ass. So dance for a quick little bag. Home of the Ravens, anywhere we gon' drag. Anywhere we get a bag. Down the hill is Baltimore. Brooklyn is Baltimore. Alameda is Baltimore. Arundel Mills not Baltimore. Owens Mills not Baltimore. Randallstown not Baltimore. Columbia not Baltimore. Edgewood not Baltimore. Up the hill that's Baltimore. Bel Air Road is Baltimore. Latrobe is Baltimore. Cherry Hill is Baltimore. Glen Burnie ain't Baltimore. Poplar Grove is Baltimore. Woodlawn, not Baltimore. I know y'all think y'all from Baltimore, but y'all not. It's Chelsea.
If I wanted to say it, I would have wrote it.
I
said what I said.
Okay, well, what you said was some bull.
But
That's
you
what
don't like it. You don't like it.
I sure damn don't like it.
Where's the answer? What you want me to do?
It's Chelsea. It's Chelsea.
Stunning on them haters like your boy a superstar. If life was a movie, then you know my rated R. So fuck your whole crew, them too. Small like oompa, loompa, doopity-doo. Stunning on them haters like your boy a superstar. If life was a movie, then you know my rated R. So fuck your whole crew, them too. Small like oompa, loompa, doopity-doo. If they bury me alive, they'll just say I'm fresh to death. If that hoe don't act right, you gotta play her to the left. Feel like the realest walking as long as the Lord give me breath. I'm bad with the pen, Michael Jackson, Jermaine don't hear me though. So deaf, been on my grind, my own shadow shine. No more talk, reject, decline. Money talks and that's all I'm hearing, so that other BS can get the hell off my line. About to go loot or roll out my biz. I'm on the clock with asking what time it is. How the fuck you ballin' when you can't even hoop? I get the party jumping, crash bandicoot. I don't fuck around with a nigga poop. Fuck with us, you be red as tomato soup. Different color diamonds in my motherfucking chain, got it looking like a bowl of Fruit Loops. I'm old school shoot. Take your shit from a hoot to a coupe. Late night and the neighbors like somebody's rocking, knocking the boots. Yeah, cash rules everything. Gotta get the loot. You ain't smoking, only gas your ass. Got is when you poop. I don't wanna hear your bullshit like I got you on mute. You ain't got a lot to kick it, real niggas I salute. Killing this shit, I need a all black suit. Location to the paper chase, I'm already en route. Lyrical killer, cause of death, verbal dispute. Swagger perfect, how I execute. On God, don't eat that forbidden fruit. Stunning on them haters like your boy a superstar. If life was a movie, then you know my rated R. So fuck your whole crew, them too. Small like oompa, loompa, doopity-doo. Stunning on them haters like your boy a superstar. If life was a movie, then you know my rated R. So fuck your whole crew, them too. Small like oompa, loompa, doopity-doo. Wild loud every time the beat drop like Monica. Is that your chick? She tryna blow me. Harmonica. I stay on these suckers' necks, similar to Dracula. When them snakes cross your rock and roll like Metallica. I ain't got no friends. All I got is money. All you hear is heavy metal. If you try to take it from me, bring it back. Boomerang. That shit strong, J. Rather eat crumbs with buns than eat steaks with snakes. Word to my nigga DanaJay. Only God can judge me. Give a fuck what you devils gotta say. My black chick pray for you. My white chick pull a pistol on the KKK. Asking where I been, I just tell them MIA. Meanwhile ballin' like a bitch, no disrespect to the WNBA. Go and get the money like a duffel bag, boy. I ride with my niggas like my name was Dope Boy. Listen, you can't ride the wave when I rock the boat, ahoy. Let's
and I stayed into something. So now I'm closer to God. But being closer is hard. The attacks get stronger, become much harder to fight, and they last longer. That's what it's always been. Joy, pain, dark with the light, sun with the rain. With the right perspective, there can be something to gain.
Yo, can I with you? What?
ACT, did you see this?
Look, if it ain't official DanaJay, Levi for Kelly, or Prima Donna News, I don't even want to see it. Take this off. Look, you got some weed? I gotta get some. All right, hurry up. Diesel and them here, everybody here, we waiting on you. All right.
I know that there's more. More for you, more for us.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
Say you love it, what you gon' do now? Hope you're ready, cause I'm really about to put it down. Girl, you know that I will never disrespect you. We love tomorrow, but tonight I wanna spank you. That ass down, gotta make it last down. Start off slow, then I'ma beat it up.
Hey, yo, lesson here, babe. You come at the king, you best not miss.
Yo, I don't mess with them, yada yada blase, and then turn around and talk to him. Nah, you out of order for that, dog. So you just got to keep it 100. Like, you gonna respect me for telling you the truth, or you're not gonna mess with me at all. You know, that's how it goes. So I say that to say, like, I mess with Greenberg. Like, he cool with me. I don't got no beef with son. You know, that's just what it is. Moving on from Greenberg, of course, there's DanaJay. You're going to see DanaJay. I let DanaJay say what he had to say because that's how he felt at the time. DanaJay did not make the cut to be in the documentary. I'm not even going to go into the reason why, but he just didn't make it. And part of it, I think at the time, if I recall correctly, he might have wanted to be removed. And if it wasn't him, there were some other people who wished to be removed because they didn't want to deal with the backlash. I felt it necessary to show DanaJay today because I have Jasmine, and Jasmine tells her story, and she's going to tell her story of how she met him. And I want you guys to be, I want you to have your eagle eyes on. And the reason why I want you to have your eagle eyes on, remember the clothes that she has on now, because something hit me, and I'm going to find it. I filmed her again, and she had a different set of clothes on. Or I can't remember if I told her to wear the exact same thing that she had again. But it's going to click, and when I find it, I'm going to show it. But the reason why her testimony in front of my cameras is important is because she talked about the secret groups that were being held on Facebook and et cetera, et cetera. And understand something. This is why them people decided to hit him with RICO. They can tell you that they went back because of the amount of time. That might be true, but in addition to that, there is no way that they did not know about the secret groups or what's being said on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And to be thorough, I'm sure they watched it all. I'm sure they watch, mine's now. And I'm not saying it because I'm special. They probably watch everybody's to see who's on which side, and they will then deem if R. Kelly has control of those people in their heads. It doesn't matter about the opinion. Now, will they take that and use it in court? Of course they will. They're not going to say that they're using it in court or give the person credit. But some of the stuff that they hear and see, they're going to come up with a legal term or whatever to use it against him. Now, I'm not going into, pro or con as far as R. Kelly. What I am going to do is present my findings. It will be up to you to decide what you want to believe. That is a good movie. That is a good book. Don't like Greenberg. He had a reputation for being whatever it was, whatever is in people's minds, that's what it was for him. As a man, I like him. I'm not going to make an excuse. I just want to be transparent as I can. If you ever hear a interview coming from one of the Kelly brothers, in particularly Bruce or Carrie, because I know both of them, Bruce will tell you that I told him I mess with the sisters. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I'm not going to mention that, but I mess with the sisters. You understand? And the reason why I told him that is because I don't want him to feel like I double-crossed him and I said, yo, I don't mess with them, yada, yada, blase, and then turn around and talk to him. Nah, you out of order for that, dog. So you just got to keep it 100. Like, you going to respect me for telling you the truth, or you're not going to mess with me at all. That's how it goes. So I say that to say, like, I mess with Greenberg. Like, he cool with me. I don't got no beef with son. That's just what it is. Moving on from Greenberg, of course, there's DanaJay. You're going to see DanaJay. I let DanaJay say what he had to say because that's how he felt at the time. DanaJay did not make the cut to be in the documentary. I'm not even going to go into the reason why, but he just didn't make it. And part of it, I think at the time, if I recall correctly, he might have wanted to be removed. And if it wasn't him, there were some other people who wished to be removed because they didn't want to deal with the backlash.
What up, Dream Team? What's going on? I played that for a reason. That's Shabazz's the documentary that he's doing. And I'm gonna be showing some clips from Shabazz's documentary. Shabazz told you, keep the ego out. Now, I'm going to show some things that even Shabazz ain't know. I'm going to show some things that I showed 3 years ago that y'all overlooked. I'm tired of the lies, the one-sidedness. So now we just going to put truth out there, okay? So, y'all see the title. It says, Glinda, a.k.a. Lady G, shaking my head. Jasmine on the Shabazz joint. R. Kelly motion. Let's rock. Jump in. That's all we doing tonight. I'm going to do the whole motion tonight. I'm even going to take Lady G back down memory lane. Back down memory lane. So, I'm going to go here, and I'm even going to touch on Jasmine for a minute, but I just had to put that out there. I'm glad Shabazz showed that, because I actually didn't see her whole interview in entirety, because Shabazz just showed us a little bit of what she was saying, okay? And I'm going to need that other part that he's showing or talking about Lisa and Cassandra. I'm just not doing the sisters thing no more, because that's my next live on Tuesday night. It will be Lisa and Cassandra. It will be titled Lisa and Cassandra. I did ask to speak out to them. I did shoot airways for them to get back with me, and nobody have got back with me. I'm tired. So now, if people gonna be mad at me, then I just don't give I just don't care no more. You gonna be mad at me either way. But some things was done behind the scenes that I needed some answers to. It's some answers that I have coming up from the jump, and nobody is trying to answer them. So now I'm gonna put it out there in front of the forefront, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. Okay? So you know, it is what it is. Shabazz mess with people. I mess with people. He don't mess with people. I don't mess with people. That's all it is. So don't forget Tuesday. That's going to be a powerful one. It's going to be titled Lisa and Cassandra. Tuesday night, 7:30. I will do that one at 7:30. But I'm gonna get to that. I want to talk about these fanatics first. I should have said plus bonus. I want to talk about these fanatics first. And I'm pissed. Because people are coming to me like, Dana, who is this person? This person is crazy. And I keep saying, if you know they crazy, leave them alone. But nobody want to leave certain people alone because they believe what they're saying, which is false. Robert do not have a baby, a newborn baby. Robert do not have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, a 7-month-old. Robert is not married right now. Robert do not have no overseas wife or nothing like that. I'm going to start there. Because this is crazy. This is crazy. For somebody to say, I'm sorry to say that we may not be using hashtag Jennifer Bonjean in the future to represent King. King did not say this and never gave her this info. I am livid. I will be in touch with Judge Ann Donnelly within minutes to once again correct this excuse my French. So evidently, offender characteristics, paragraph 255, defendant objects to the extent that probation seeks to paint Joycelyn Savage as a victim. Savage is engaged in a consensual relationship with defendant and is engaged to him. Defendant has been incarcerated for over 2 years, belying the suggestion that he has forced or induced her into a sexually abusive relationship that exists today. First of all, and then this lady is so crazy that she actually reached out to Miss Jennifer Bonjean. And Miss Jennifer Bonjean said, Juliet, I appreciate all comments, and my motion addresses evidence that came in at trial. There was plenty of evidence that was admitted that was false. Once again, like I told folks, but I still have to address it. I cannot ignore the government's evidence and the government witness testimony. I am sorry you feel the way you do, but thanks for letting me know. Now she's going to go tell Robert about this crazy old lady, and Robert going to say what he always say, I do not know this lady. Then she said, Jennifer, it's not about ignoring the government. You stated she traveled with him because they were in a relationship. Prior to that, you called it a serious relationship. There was no relationship. That is the issue. It was never a romantic or sexual relationship. This was not the government's error, but Mr. Greenberg and company. It's not how I feel. Like, yo, can people just let Miss Bonjean do what she do? She's been brought in to help vindicate Robert. Let her do what she do. Speaking of Miss Bonjean, we're gonna get directly to what she put out. And we're gonna go in with it. This is what Miss Jennifer Bongine put. This is what she put. So let's go. Bang, 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 bang. Scroll down. Okay. So let's see something. Okay. So in reply to what's on the screen. Well, let's go here. The government on 4/19/2020, the government filed a letter under seal regarding juror questionnaires pursuant to the court's April 13th, 2022 electronic order as to Roberts v. Kelly attachments 1, questionnaires for seated jurors and alternate jurors number 2, questionnaires for potential jurors who were questioned but excused 1 of 2. Number 3, questionnaires for potential jurors who were questioned but excused 2 of 2. It was submitted by Cruz Melendez and Miss Maria. Okay. So that was on 4/19. Also on 4/19, Miss Bongine, right? She filed a motion for extension of time to file objections to PSR by Roberts v. Kelly. On 4/20, and Donnelly granted that motion. Today, well, yesterday, 4/20, late, number 292, the objection to presentence investigation report by Robert Sylvester Kelly, which is right here that you see right now. So today, the government, letter dated April 21st, 2022, correcting and supplanting the government's April 19th, 2022 letter regarding filing of juror questionnaires pursuant to the court's April 13th, 2022 order with attachments as to Robert Sylvester Kelly, attachments number 1, exhibit questionnaires for seated jurors and alternate jurors, number 2, exhibit questionnaires for potential jurors that were questioned but excused, 1 of 2, number 3, exhibit questionnaires for potential jurors that were questioned but excused, 2 of 2, by Cruz Melendez, Miss Maria Cruz Melendez. And that was entered on 4/21/22. So let's look at what Miss Bongine objected to that made them go and rechange that joint. You see it, United States of America versus Robert Sylvester Kelly. Check it out. They got him as a corporation. Also known as R. Kelly. They got the corporation as a person. See how they play word games? Well, let's go. Defendant Robert Kelly's objections to the pre-sentence report. Defendant Robert S. Kelly, by and through his counsel Jennifer Bongine of the Bongine Law Group, lodges the following objections to the pre-sentence report, the PSR, pursuant to Fed R. Crim P. 32F. Introduction. After a jury trial, defendant was convicted of racketeering and 8 freestanding Mann Act violations that are duplicative to charge racketeering acts. The charges stem from the allegations of 5 separate women, Stephanie, Jane, Geronda, Sonia, and Faith. Defendant has filed an extensive motion for a judgment of acquittal pursuant to Fed R. Crim P. 29, a motion for a new trial, and supplemental motion for a new trial pursuant to Fed R. Crim P. 33. Defendant reserves the right to file a sentencing memorandum prior to his sentencing hearing. Objections to pre-sentence report. Generally, defendant objects to probation's narrative set forth in the offense portion of the report for the reasons set forth in defendant's Rule 29 motion. Separately, defendant makes the following objections. So basically what they're saying is that the defendant objects to probation's narrative set forth in the offense. So evidently the government, along with probation, is trying to put a narrative on Robert, and Robert don't like it. So now he's filing objections to it. Part A, the offense. Charges and convictions. Paragraph 11. Defendant objects to the government's assertion that it could prove by a preponderance of the evidence that the defendant's commission of racketeering acts 3 and 4, the jury returned a verdict of not guilty on those racketeering acts, evincing that it did not believe testimony from Sonia. There is no reason to believe that the jury will have credited Sonia's testimony under the lesser standard of proof. The offense conduct. Paragraph 15. Defendant objects. The defendant objects to the use of the enterprise member to describe an employee who ran errands such as picking up defendant's prescriptions. Paragraph 16 to 17, defendant objects to the PSR's conclusion that an enterprise existed. Facts. As set forth in detail, the defendant's Rule 29 motion, the government failed to prove the existence of a group of individuals associated in fact for the common purpose of carrying out a fraudulent or illegal scheme. None of the so-called enterprise members identified in the PSR, otherwise known as defendants in a circle, provided any testimony suggesting that they facilitated defendant in carrying out unlawful sexual conduct. At best, Demetrius Smith admitted to assisting defendant's marriage to Aaliyah, but did not admit to having knowledge of a sexual relationship between the two and did not admit to facilitating an illegal scheme. The probation department has done nothing more than identify individuals who work for defendant. Paragraph 17 through 18. Defendant objects to the assertion that anyone in defendant's inner circle escorted minors to rooms within defendant's residence or studio to the extent it suggests that any employees of defendant had knowledge of his visitors' ages. Defendant objects to the claim that defendant's employees handed out defendant phone numbers to minors. No testimony established that any employees recruited minors for the defendant. Defendant further objects to the claim that defendant employee selected minors to join defendant backstage for after parties. There is simply no evidence that anyone recruited minors specifically to attend any after parties. While it is true that individuals who attended defendant's concert were sometimes invited backstage to meet defendant, after parties or backstage gatherings are simply a routine aspect of the music industry. Defendant objects to probation continued use of the word inner circle, a term coined by the government that merely describes individuals who work for the defendant and cannot be said to have had knowledge about the age of any women with whom defendant had relationships. Paragraph 19. Defendant objects to the characterization of signing non-disclosure agreements as a rule of the enterprise. Use of NDAs are routine for high-profile individuals. Indeed, most celebrities require the signing of NDAs to work for them or even step foot into their orbit. This was not a rule of any enterprise. Defendant further objects to the contention that defendant rules of his business and home were rules of the enterprise. Defendant further objects to the contention that defendant rules of his business and home were rules of the enterprise. Defendant's general rule that prohibited guests from wandering his home unattended was simply a rule of his business and home. Paragraph 20. Defendant objects to the report's suggestion that wage disputes between the defendant and his employees was a feature of the so-called enterprise. Defendant docked the pay of his employees from time to time for various reasons. Those employees objected. This reflected typical employment disputes unrelated to any charged conduct. Defendant objects to the assertion that he required his employees to write letters falsely confessing to bad conduct. No such evidence established that defendant required his employees to write such letters so he could use them for his protection. Stop. Defendant objects to the assertion that he required his employees to write letters that he required his employees to write letters falsely confessing to bad conduct. No such evidence established that defendant required his employees to write such letters so he could use them for protection. So if he didn't even require his his employees whom he paid, what makes people think, and here's where I want y'all to think, what makes people think that he required Azriel, Joycelyn, and all the other ones to write letters on his behalf? Like I said, when Azriel made that call to the feds and talked about the storage, her and Pretty Boy Don have already hit the storage and put things in place where they could be found by Homeland Security. I wish I could find that clip that Shabazz did with her talking to the feds. There's some things I want to point out to you in that. So just pay attention. If there's no such evidence established, that means they've been to court, they put it all out there, and the evidence have not been established. So now that no evidence have been established, how can people who don't like Robert run with the scenario, oh, Robert made Azriel write that? When Azriel said it in court, I didn't write that, y'all wrote that. Talking to the government. That's what y'all put in place, not us, not me. I'm just saying. Robert said, don't think like him, but make sense. Paragraph 22. Defendant objects to the assertion that member of the enterprise aided and abetted and conspired to commit certain crimes. There's no evidence that any of defendant's employees knowingly aided and abetted sexual activity with minors, sexual activity without disclosing a sexual transmitted disease, child pornography, extortion, coercion, or blackmail. Wow. Paragraph 28. Defendant had no role in the title of Aaliyah's first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, as suggested by the government. Aaliyah herself has publicly explained many times that the title of her album sprung from a desire to be taken seriously in the music industry, and that it was a decision ultimately made by her managers and the record label. So I have a question. If Robert ain't have a role in the title of Aaliyah's first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, right? And then she's saying by her managers. Her manager was Barry Hankerson. So, are you going to believe what Aaliyah said? And what Barry Hankerson's son Jomo Hankerson said? When Jomo said Barry going to hold that fake marriage over Robert's head because Robert left him. I mean, this right here breaks down 85% of the people who don't like Robert arguing. The conduct against Jane Doe 1, paragraph 29. Defendant objects to the unsupported assertion that defendant began sexually abusing Aaliyah in 1992 or 1993. Apart from the isolated incident that Jane Doe 7 claims to have witnessed between defendant and Aaliyah, the record is devoid of evidence of ongoing sexual abuse. Okay, so that means you got to throw that charge out then. Because if the record is devoid of evidence, there's no proof. And Jane Doe 7, which is Devontae Cunningham, she can't be believed. Because she was there for Sparkle, not for Aaliyah. Let's make that make sense. She came for Sparkle to be a backup singer and dancer for Sparkle, not Aaliyah. That's just like Reds and them saying, oh, they mess with Rkelly, but they got a LL Cool J pitch up there. So if you want to destroy one set of group, you might as well destroy the other set of group. What makes Javante Cunningham credible? Because she from Chicago and she said this is what happened? Well, if that's the case, why can't Robert be credible when he said, I didn't do none of this? How can y'all believe them but not believe Robert when you wasn't there? Let's make that make sense. What up, Dennis? Count 1 racketeering, Act 1 bribery. Paragraphs 32 and 33. Defendant objects to the assertion that Smith told defendant that he could obtain a fake identification card for Aaliyah by bribing an employee at the public aid office. Smith testified that he did not recall discussing this with defendant. Okay, so if that's the case, how can Robert be held responsible for something that Demetrius Smith is doing without Robert even knowing? Make this make sense. Aaliyah just told y'all before she passed that the record label and her manager, which is Barry Hankerson. That's everything DanaJay been telling y'all since day one, right? Make it make sense. What up, Prima? Paragraph 53 and 55. Defendant objects to the alleged Reguerero conduct. The jury rejected Sonia's testimony. The record does not suggest that the jury would have credited Sonia's testimony under a preponderance of evidence standard. Well, let's go here. How can you reject Sonia's testimony and not reject Azriel and Geronda's testimony? Because the testimony is the same. The only difference is time frame. Make this make sense. So you reject Sonia, but you include Azriel and you include Geronda, which is the same story. Along with Tracy Sampson, same story. Same soup warmed over. Aren't you going to get sick for eating leftovers for a month ago? Let's finish. Offense level computation. Count 1 racketeering act bribery. Paragraph 129. Defendant objects to the enhancement for role in the offense and the offense where there is no evidence. Defendant attempting to use a person less than 18 years old of age to commit the offense of bribery. The record is devoid of evidence that Aaliyah had knowledge that a bribery occurred or that she played any role in the bribery, even if the bribery involved obtaining an identification card for her. Here we go again. The record is devoid of evidence. That means that charge got to go. Because where there's no evidence, you cannot charge somebody from word of mouth. If that's the case, a lot of us will be locked up on social media. And sometimes, even when the evidence is there, sometimes the departments don't even want to they don't even want to deal with it. Paragraph 130. The government's evidence failed to show that defendant was even aware that a bribe had taken place, let alone that he was the organizer or leader of the bribe. Even if defendant was the beneficiary of the bribe, the government did not establish he was the leader of this specific criminal activity. So if the government didn't establish it, right? If the government didn't establish, right, then here's my question. What are we doing? Why is he being charged? Why is he being charged? Why is he being charged? That's all I want to know. Why is he being charged? If the government didn't establish that, why is he being charged? Count 1, racketeering. Act 2, sexual exploitation of a child, Jane Doe 2. Paragraph 134. No, I'm sorry, paragraph 130. The government evidence failed to show that defendant was even... Okay, I talked about that. 134. Defendant objects to the 2-point enhancement where the commission of a sexual act is duplicative to the underlying offense of sexual exploitation of a child. Paragraph 136. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with racketeering Act 2. Jesus. Ruggiero conduct. I think I'm saying it right. Count racketeering Act 3, kidnapping, Jane Doe 3. Paragraph 139. Defendant objects to the consideration of so-called Ruggiero conduct. Although the government contends that it can prove the allegations involving Jane Doe 3, Sonia, by the preponderance of the evidence was presented to the jury and was rejected by the jury, presumably because the jury did not credit Sonia's testimony. There was nothing in this record that suggests that Sonia's testimony should be credited under the lower standard of proof. Stop. Although the government contends it can prove the allegation involving Jane Doe 3, Sonia, by a preponderance of the evidence was presented to the jury and was rejected by the jury. Somebody lying. So how can the government contend that it can prove it, and when they presented it to the jury rejected it? So therefore the government is doing what they have been doing the whole time, lying. Paragraph 143. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with racketeering Act 3. Like I said, you cannot have 1 or 2 people just being a RICO. You got to have 5 or more. Ruggiero conduct, count racketeering Act 4, Mann Act, Jane Doe 3. Paragraph 146. Defendant objects to the consideration of so-called Ruggiero conduct. Although the government contends that it can prove the allegations involving Jane Doe 3, Sonia, the evidence was presented to the jury and was rejected by the jury, presumably because the jury did not credit Sonia's testimony. There is nothing in this record that suggests that Sonia's testimony should be credited under the lower standard of proof. Paragraph. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that the defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with racketeering Act 3. Let's say county. Count 1, racketeering Act 5, Mann Act, Jane Doe number 4. Paragraph 154. Defendant objects to the enhancement for unduly influencing a minor to engage in prohibited sexual conduct, as this conduct is duplicative to the elements of Racketeering Act 5 as charged. Paragraph 155. Defendant objects to an enhancement for use of a computer or cell phone to induce the travel of a minor to engage in prohibited sexual conduct. There is no evidence that Jane Doe 4, Geronda, traveled anywhere. At best, she took the train to the defendant's home and was given a ride from the train station. Furthermore, there is no evidence that defendant enticed or induced Jane Doe 4 to come to his house to engage in sexual conduct. The government offered no text communications between defendant and Jane Doe 4, as she did not testify to any specific communications from the defendant that reflect persuasion, inducement, or coercion. Wow. So they charging him with stuff that's not even accurate. Paragraph 156. Defendant objects to an enhancement based on the commission of a sex act, where the sex act has already taken into account in the Mann Act violation itself. The enhancement is duplicative. Paragraph 158. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 5. Yo, all of this got to get thrown out, bro. Jenny from the block is breaking it down. Count 1, Racketeering Act 6, forced labor, Jane Doe 4. Paragraph 162, defendant objects to probation's contention that another felony offense was committed during the commission of Racketeering Act 6, specifically sexual exploitation of a child pursuant to 2251A. Paragraph 164, defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 6. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Why people want to shut me down? Only thing I'm doing is talking truth. Why you want to shut me down? That's weird. Well, since you want to shut me down, I think it's time I shut all of y'all down. Let's go. Count 1, Racketeering Act 7, sexual exploitation of a child, Jane Doe 4. Paragraph 168. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the offense involved the commission of a sexual act by use of physical force. There is no evidence that physical force was used in connection with this Racketeering Act. This Racketeering Act involves the claim that defendant video recorded Jane Doe 4 Geronda doing sexual acts. The record is devoid of any suggestion that any recording of sex acts with Geronda involved use of physical force. Wow. Wow. Paragraph 169. Defendant objects to an enhancement for use of a computer or cell phone to induce the travel of a minor to engage in prohibited sexual conduct. There is no evidence that Jane Doe 4 Geronda traveled anywhere at best. She took the train to defendant's home and was given a ride from the train station. Furthermore, there is no evidence that defendant enticed or induced Jane Doe 4 to come to his house to engage in sexual conduct. The government offered no text communications between defendant and Jane Doe 4, and she did not testify to any specific communications from the defendant that reflect persuasion, inducement, or coercion. Paragraph 171. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 7. Count 1, Racketeering Act 8, Mann Act, Jane Doe 5. Paragraph 175. Defendant objects to any enhancement on the basis that defendant unduly influence a minor to engage in prohibited sexual conduct, as the government conceded. Jane Doe 5, Jane, falsely told defendant she was 18 years of age. Furthermore, with the facilitation of her mother, here we go again, with the facilitation of her mother, Jane induced defendant into sexual relationship, not the other way around. GX233A. Furthermore, this enhancement is unjustified, where undue influence is an element of Racketeering Act 8B, namely a Mann Act violation based on coercion or enticement. The enhancement is duplicative to punishment incorporated into the base offense level. Thank you so much, Charlotte. Levi, I see your work paying off, Levi. I see them letters you sent in working. I see some stuff. Paragraph 176. Defendant objects to an enhancement for use of a computer or cell phone to induce the travel of a minor to engage in prohibited sexual conduct. There is no evidence that defendant induced or persuaded Jane to travel to California, and there is no evidence that there was a computer or cell phone used to induce the travel. Jane was living with the defendant in Illinois, where the age of consent was what? And is and always will be 17. Jane was 17 years of age. Jane traveled with defendant because they were in a relationship, not because defendant had to induce her to travel to engage in prohibited sexual activities. Stop. Why haven't the government rebutted this right here? Jennifer Bongine have put this in 3 motions, and the government have not touched it, not one time. Why? Some folks said, oh, Robert made her say that. Well, if it wasn't truthful, don't you think the government would have struck that down or came at them about it? I'm just saying. Some things happen, and somebody wasn't telling the truth somewhere. But I get the whole play. Paragraph 176. Damn. Niggas want me shut down. He. Paragraph 176, defendant objects to the contention that he used the cell phone to persuade, entice, coerce, or facilitate the travel of a minor. As discussed in Supra, and as conceded by the government, defendant had no knowledge that Jane was a minor at the time of this underlying offense, where Jane lied to the defendant about her age. Furthermore, the text exchange showed that it was Jane and her mama that were doing the inducing, not the other way around. Whew. Wait a minute. Let me hit the like button. I got 191 watching. Can I get at least 51 likes? At least 51 likes. Paragraph 177. Defendant objects to any enhancement for an offense involving the commission of a sex act or sexual contact, where such conduct is duplicative to the charge offense and already contemplated by the base level offense. Paragraph 179. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 8. Count 1, Racketeering Act 10, sexual exploitation of a child, Jane Doe 5. Paragraph 183, defendant objects to the 2-point enhancement where the commission of a sexual act is duplicative to the underlying offense of sexual exploitation of a child. Thank you so much, Charlotte. Appreciate it. Paragraph 184. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the offense involved material that portray sadistic or what'd that say? Masochistic conduct or other depictions of violence. The government did not offer any videos into evidence that portrayed Jane's sex acts with the defendant in California. Uh-oh. Where's the 100 devices? They said Robert record everything, right? So why they ain't so where's that device of them two having sex in California? There's no evidence whatsoever that the videos allegedly created in California during the relevant time period involve sadistic or masochistic conduct or any depictions of violence, including alleged chastisement. So I got a question. Why people run with certain narratives, why they don't run with these narratives that's being put out there? Narratives of facts instead of narratives of opinion. It's a problem when your narrative of opinion can outweigh the narrative of a fact. I just don't get it. Hey, 50 and Fabulous. Let's go ahead. Paragraph 185. Defendant objects to an enhancement for use of a computer or cell phone to induce the travel of a minor to engage in prohibited sexual conduct. There's no evidence that defendant induced or persuaded Jane to travel to California, and there's no evidence that there was a computer or cell phone used to induce to travel or to create sexually exploitative videos. Jane was living with the defendant in Illinois, where the age of consent was 17, and Jane was 17 years of age. She traveled with defendant because defendant was performing in California. Any sex acts or recording of sex acts were incident to the travel. Stop. Lady Juliet, I don't understand why you didn't have a problem with them talking about Jane, but you got a problem with them talking about Joy. I'm starting to wonder who you really are. Even though we uncovered some stuff. But I'm really starting to wonder, like, your mental capacity is crazy. It like stops at 3rd grade. Because you ain't mad about this. That talks about exploitative videos and stuff like that. But you get mad because Joy is engaged to Robert. We all know about Joy. Just like the demon said to the fake prophets. We know about Joseph. We know about Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. But who the hell are you? And that's my new terminology now for any newbie and anybody that want to question anything that go on over here. I know about the enemies that I had from day one, but who the hell are you? Paragraph 187. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 10. Count 1, Racketeering Act 11, forced labor, Jane Doe 5. Paragraph 181. Defendant objects to the enhancement that alleges that defendant committed a offense of sexual exploitation of a child in connection with the forced labor count. The government alleged that defendant was guilty of forced labor because defendant forced Jane to participate in sex acts with men and other women. There is simply no evidence. Here we go. There is simply no evidence that those acts took place. when Jane was under the age of 18. Defendant cannot be found to have committed sexual exploitation of a child when he allegedly forced Jane to participate in sex acts with third parties if she was not under the age of 18. Defendant further objects to an enhancement on the basis that the offense involved material that portrays sadistic and masochistic conduct or other depictions of violence. The government did not offer any videos into evidence that portrayed Jane's sex acts with third parties that show any chastisements or beatings or spankings, and Jane's testimony regarding her alleged sexual acts with third parties. The basis for the forced labor count did not include acts of violence. Defendant also objects to an enhancement for use of a computer or cell phone to induce the travel of a minor to engage in sexually explicit conduct. There is no evidence that defendant induced or persuaded Jane to travel to anywhere to participate in these group sex acts. The record suggests that these activities actually took place where defendant and Jane lived together. Stop. I need to ask the people who do not like Robert Sylvester Kelly, where are the videos? Like I said, when I told y'all what was presented as it was described in court, people that wasn't there was trying to tell me that that wasn't true. Why? Because they read the transcript. Well, maybe some transcripts was doctored up. Have y'all thought about that? Where's these videos of beatings, chastisements, or spankings? Because Larry said it, that makes it valid? When Larry was getting his information from Angelo? And he got some stuff from Geronda and from Jim Dariakis, which we all know is a component liar? I'm just saying. When does public opinion overrides documented facts? I don't get it. Paragraph 193. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 11. Count 1, Racketeering Act 13, forced labor, Jane Doe 6. Paragraph 197. Defendant objects to a 2-point enhancement for brandishing a firearm. Faith's testimony established that defendant did not brandish a firearm. Stop. Come on now. Wait a minute. Faith's testimony established that defendant did not brandish a firearm. Although she noticed the weapon, she did not allege that defendant brandished it. Indeed, defendant never touched the gun or made any gestures toward using the gun. Faith described the defendant as being serious but not threatening. Did y'all get that? Did y'all get that? I'm going to read it again. Defendant objects to a 2-point enhancement. Okay, Travel the World, I see. Defendant objects to a 2-point enhancement for brandishing a firearm. Faith's testimony established that defendant did not brandish a firearm, although she noticed the weapon. She did not allege that defendant brandished it. Indeed, defendant never touched the gun or made any gestures toward using the gun. Faith described the defendant as being serious but not threatening. Progress, what's up? I mean, I'm just saying, do that make sense to anybody? Paragraph 198. Defendant objects to any enhancement on the basis that defendant used force in connection with this act of oral sex. Faith did not testify that she objected to the act of oral sex. The record fails to reflect that force or threats of force were used in connection with this sex act. Even Faith admitted that her sexual relationship with defendant was voluntary, if unpleasant. Jenny breaking it down. Paragraph 200. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal the defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 13. Count 1, Racketeering Act 9, and counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, Mann Act, Jane Doe 5. Let's break it down, Jenny. Paragraph 203. Defendant objects to the base offense level of 32, where the predicate sexual act of this Mann Act violation was not sexual exploitation of a child, but rather intentional exposure to an STD. Although the government did also charge an alternative theory that defendant transported Jane to California with the intent to violate California state law prohibiting sexual intercourse with a person under the age of 18. The verdict form did not specify that it found the defendant was guilty under this theory. Jesus Christ. Defendant objects to the enhancement based on the commission of a sexual act, where the sex act is duplicative of the sexual conduct contemplated by sexual exploitation of a child, and the base offense level. Paragraph 205. Defendant also objects to an enhancement for use of a computer or cell phone to induce the travel of a minor to engage in sexually explicit conduct. There is no evidence that defendant induced or persuaded Jane to travel to anywhere to participate in sex acts or sex acts that were recorded, and no evidence demonstrates that defendant used computers or cell phones for this purpose. Defendant and Jane lived together in Chicago at this time period. They traveled together because they were in a relationship with one another. Paragraph 207. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 9. So if they was in a relationship, a voluntarily relationship, not forceful, where's the problem? Where's the problem? The chat, huh? Oh, okay. Where's the problem? The problem didn't come in until Azriel didn't have control of visiting Robert for 6 months and didn't want Joy to do it. It goes back into what Shabazz was talking about as far as the alpha female. Count 1, Racketeering Act 12, and count 6 and 7, Mann Act, Jane Doe 6, paragraph 210. Defendant objects to the base offense level of 18, where the record does not show that defendant used coercion against Faith to travel to New York for the purpose of exposing her to STD. The record shows unequivocally that defendant asked Faith to travel to New York. She accepted. Faith herself does not contend otherwise. No coercion was used in connection with this trip whatsoever. Paragraph 212. Defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 12. Count 1, Racketeering Act 14 and counts 8 and 9. Mann Act, Jane Doe 6. Paragraph 215. Defendant objects to the base offense level of 18, where the record does not show that defendant used coercion against Faith to travel to New York or to engage in any sex acts with Faith while in New York. Faith testified to the opposite. Paragraph 217, which means Faith lied. That means she lied under oath. That means for every lie she told, it's supposed to be 5 years. Why aren't these liars locked up? Paragraph 217, defendant objects to the 4-point enhancement on the basis that the evidence does not reveal that the defendant was the organizer or leader of criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants in connection with Racketeering Act 12, paragraph 219 to 225. For the reasons identified, defendant objects to the total offense level of 43. Stop playing. This is all his charge levels. He's destroying them all. They are destroying all charge levels. This is a smart strategy. Not to go after the so-called accusers. Well, so-called victims that are accusers. But to go after the credibility of the government and their level of overreaching. Wow. Paragraph 27, no, Part B, defendant's criminal history. Paragraph 227, defendant objects to the probation's reliance on this alleged 1996 arrest for a misdemeanor battery based on internet tabloid reports. Uh-oh. This where Jim Darriagas need to be pulled in at. No official records exist of defendant's arrest or the disposition of the alleged arrest. The mere presence of the arrest on a criminal history report and internet tabloid reports does not offer sufficient reliability that the offense occurred and that defendant was convicted and or sentenced to a year of probation after allegedly pleading no contest to simple battery. Paragraph 232 to 244. Wait a minute. I got to go back to this because I know who sent this in. Defendant objects to probation reliance on this alleged 1996 arrest for a misdemeanor battery based on internet tabloid reports. Sylvia! This why y'all didn't want me to see it. Because the stuff you sent in to Greenberg had to let the government see it, and the government used it. Oh my God, man. Well, government, y'all crazy. Y'all was reaching that bad. The mere presence of the arrest on a criminal history report and the internet tabloid reports does not offer sufficient reliability that the offense occurred and that defendant was convicted or sentenced to a year probation after allegedly pleadings no contest to simple battery. Golly. You know what? I'm glad I got a copy of that. Everything that you sent in to Greenberg. I'm going to show it one day soon. Paragraph 232 to 244. Defendant objects on the basis that defendant objects on the basis that pending charges and any offenses for which defendant was acquitted are irrelevant to his sentencing in this case and impinge on the presumption of innocence. Part C, offender characteristics. Paragraph 255, defendant objects to the extent that probation seek to paint Joycelyn Savage as a victim. Savage is engaged. Savage is engaged in a consensual relationship with defendant and is engaged to him. Defendant has been incarcerated for over 2 years, belying the suggestion that he has forced or induced her into a sexually abusive relationship that exists today. Tim, are you looking at this? I know you're watching my channel. Defendant objects to the extent that probation seeks to paint Joycelyn Savage as a victim. Savage is engaged in a consensual relationship with defendant and is engaged to him. Defendant has been incarcerated for over 2 years, belying the suggestion that he has forced or induced her into a sexually abusive relationship that exists today. Part D, sentencing options. Paragraph 288, defendant objections to the total offense level of 43 and criminal history of I for the reasons identified above. Paragraph 305, defendant objects on the basis that no enterprise existed and he did not profit from any racketeering activities associated with the non-existent enterprise. Dated April 20, 2022, New York, New York. Respectfully submitted, Jenny from the block, Miss Jennifer Bonjean. Ooh, so I see why the government had to go back in there. I see why the government had to go back in there. And they had to re-put some stuff on the seal and fix some stuff up. I understand that. Jenny on that tail. But I don't do empty promises. So on some comments that I couldn't see. No. Let's wait for that one. Let's wait for that one. So we gonna get to Glinda. Lady G. I first met Glinda like 2 years ago. 3 years ago. She claimed to be such a Rkelly supporter, this and this and this. But she was stirring up a bunch of drama in these chat rooms. So I talked to Glinda on more than one occasion. Her friend, who I'm going to give her a name. What up, DJ Amazing? All right, give me a second. Her friend. You know what? Let's do this real quick. No, let's do this real quick. Her friend, who I'm just going to say named Missy, because she don't do the messy stuff and she ain't going to get back and forth. She even talked to Glinda and said, Glinda, stay away from all that drama. Stay away from all that crazy stuff. So you found Glinda hopping from group to group just to fit in. And if you notice, she fit right in with the misfits. Like I said earlier. Ask her if I'm lying. Tell her to prove to me that I'm lying. Because I got some stuff that I'm about to show. So, ask her. And if you look at the headline, when Azriel and Joy was walking from the courtroom, you seen Glinda in the background following them, stalking them. They went to go eat. Glinda met them there and like, oh, I'm for Rob and this, and I'm going to pay for y'all food. And then she asks, well, do y'all know DanaJay? At that moment, I got a phone call. I'm on the phone, laughing with Joy. Glinda tried to say, oh yeah, Azriel called. No, Azriel ain't called, Joy called. And whispered, just listen. And I'm laughing. I'm hearing the whole conversation. At that point, I did not have the devices that I have now to record, because I would have recorded that call. They left the eatery and they ditched Glinda and they gave Glinda a wrong number. Ask me how I know. Here's my thing. I shouldn't be coming up in nobody's conversation. If you're trying to get to know somebody, stop using me as you know me. But I'm going to tell y'all something else. We was in a group on Twitter. I think it was something Reloaded, something. It's one of the groups that I named, Reloaded. But I left the group because I found out that Glenda was giving a party in Chicago, right? It was for somebody's birthday. But the thing was, she wanted me and Will to show up, and she was going to try to intoxicate or inebriate me and Will, just so she can steal our phones and get the contacts for Rkelly out of our phones. Now, if you think I'm lying, ask anybody that know about the Twitter thing 2 to 3 years ago. Because I went live and I talked about it. You'll see as I re-upload my old videos, you're going to hear some stuff. You're going to be like, oh, I remember Dana talking about that. But if you my dog, why do you got to inebriate anything? So when Glenda was having a down day for her birthday, and yes, I was in Chicago. Yes, I stayed at their hotel at the Homewood Suites. I stayed with Glenda and her friend. At that point, me and her friend was very close. And we was enjoying each other. Which we are still real close. And we was enjoying each other. Glenda was the third wheel. Even though her friend didn't want her to feel that way. The whole thing was, the whole thing was, me and her friend had made plans to come up to Chicago, and we was going to spend time with each other. Glenda was the tag along because Glenda was supposed to have a friend in Chicago. Her friend never materialized. She was trying to go after Will. So, before anybody tell my story, I'm going to tell it. Before I left, I deposited a check of $30,000 into my account. And my account was put on hold. They froze it until the check, cleared. I let them know that. Her friend was like, Dana, don't worry about it, boo. I got you. You know what it is. Glenda was like, bro, but don't worry about it. I said, nah, I can pay y'all back. They both told me no. Don't worry about it. Her friend, which is my friend still, never threw that in my face. But every time Glenda got mad, she threw it in my face. That's why I didn't want her doing nothing for me in New York. Now, y'all get to see why actions was taking place. Now I can explain my actions. Because when you play with me once, I'm not going to give you a chance to play with me again. So when Glenda came in a chat, along with Janet, Glenda was like, oh, we got you, Dana, in New York. We got you in New York. This and this. Bop, 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 bop. But if you never liked me, why put up a front, Glenda? Me and Janet, cool. That's still my dog. When the Dream Team put up, you know what, Dana ain't asking, but we got to get him to New York. Janet said, look, I'm going to start it off. Here's 200. And the Dream Team followed up. Rainbowski got mad. Rainbowski really got mad. When a certain person that just passed away, or did the person actually pass away, came and gave me 500. Rainbowski got mad because he was getting 500 on a regular. Let's make this make sense. Smokem said, yes, I spent time with Glenda. Thank you. Everybody know I'm not lying. I'm putting it out there. That's why now Glenda is trying to get people to shut my page. Stop, shut him down. Shut him down. He's telling it all. He's telling it all. Y'all think I'm lying, don't you? Watch this. One thing I don't do is cap. If I'm telling you something happened, it happened. Look. Why? Why do you want to shut me down? If it ain't true, just say it ain't true. But you know, the problem is I come with receipts. So I don't lie. Me and Glenda had a falling out because Don Russell popped up under another name on Twitter. And I caught Glenda agreeing with what Don Russell said. So I asked her, is this who you agree with? And she, I said, Betty, yeah, it's cool. So Glenda told me she got some Ray J earphones. She say she talked to Ray J all the time. I found out that was a lie. Because when I ran into Ray J not too long ago, I showed him Glenda picture and I asked him, and he's like, yo, I don't know this lady. So when she's supposed to be sending me some Ray J earphones, and she never did. I gave her my address and everything. She never did. So I asked her about it, and she got defensive. That's right after she asked me to pray for her grandson that was having some kind of complications. And I prayed for her grandson. This is what I mean when I say fake ass people. So in New York, when we was at court, Glenda is all tough on the internet. But when the so-called snake squad, Trevor and them pulled up, she ran and told the marshals and then created a scene so the marshals can say something. That's not gangster. She told Trevor and Loyalty she'd have her son, which is a blood, allegedly, he will come down here and spray the whole place up. Yellow Michelle called Debunking, and Debunking like, damn, Dana, and you letting the Enterprise women get approached. My exact words were, wasn't nobody doing nothing. They were running their mouth, and they got G-checked. What am I supposed to do? Defend somebody that's running their mouth? If you running your mouth, you can handle it. I wasn't going to let it go too far. But at the end of the day, not my monkey, not my show. I'm there for Robert. So, I'm talking to Trevin. I'm talking to Loyalty. I'm talking to Miss Lady T. Glenda on the 4th floor looking down, and then when she came out, she said, well, you know, Keith and them seen you talking to them, and they mad because Keith and them look at them as being and the negative people. I stopped and told Glenda, I'm grown. I can talk to who I want to. If it's an issue, I approach people that have an issue. It turned out not to be an issue because it was all lies that Dumbo put out there. I'm grown. I asked Loyalty one question. 2 questions. One, how would I get a picture of, I forgot her name, of the young lady that passed away? I don't have no pictures of her. She was never over here with me. She never liked me. So how would I get a picture and even know that allegedly she's supposed to have faked her death? That came from the Dirty Prize, not from the Dream Team. And then I asked Loyalty this question. How did I know that allegedly you ain't the tough one? It's supposed to be your cousin or your brother. That came from who? Rainbowski. So, where's the issue? They went and confronted Glenda in them. That's not a Dream Team issue. Her name was Cherry something, I believe. Exactly. So at the end of the day, they thought that they can buy me. Glenda was like, oh, Dana, I'll pay for your food. I said, nah, I got my own shit. And then Keith ended up paying for everybody, John. Because Keith would ask me, who all out here? And I said, yo, all these people for kills, bro. I take care of it. It wasn't because of them. It was because of me that all their foods were paid for consistently. I could have easily told Keith, these people are hell raisers. And Keith was like, oh, all right, cool. Never mind. Even though, I ain't gonna front, Miss Lady G, she had her own bread. That's one thing I can say. She always keep her bread. That's one thing I'm not going to lie about. She always keep her bread, and she always about self-preservation of herself. But she messy as fuck. And she will lie like a motherfucker to get some shit done. And see, and when you know people, you know their characteristics. Even though she was one of the, I believe, she was one of the instrumental part of looking up my kids' moms and sending it over to Rainbowski. But I never caught her saying anything in the chats about it. So I can't just jump out there and make her wear that jacket. But like I say, I'm going to take her down memory lane. Lady G, you remember this picture? When you bent over and told Me Too to kiss your butt? And the camera people picked it up? That wasn't professional. That's not something Robert would sanction. And y'all looked out of place. You remember this? This before I even met Ruthie. And I was calling y'all the Burger King people. And I thought this plate was yours, but that plate was Ruthie's. And them crowns are real. And Ruthie put in work. That's why I can appreciate Ruthie. Because that stuff that she make, she do it from the bottom of her heart and she do it with love. So you remember all that? This the same shirt, same pants that you wore when you stalked ass. This the same day. You remember? This was before you even thought about the enterprise. There was no such thing of an enterprise then. Well, I said I'm going to take you down memory lane. You remember how much you loved me as a brother? How close me and your friend was, and will always be? And you were the third wheel? But even though you was the third wheel, Glenda, You looked comfortable there. And this is before I learned about y'all supposed to be drugging me. Smoke 'em said, yep, that's Glinda. Thank you. So when you say I don't know Rob and Rob don't deal with me and this, I do believe I came downstairs from Rob's crib to meet y'all. We're very happy together. This was the time. Okay, this gonna make a lot of the dirty people mad. A very lovable guy. A very lovable guy. And all of this is outside of Trump. This lady is a very great person, and I will forever have a nice spot in my heart for her. She's a beautiful person. No drama, no nothing. A mama. A go-getter. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So when Glenda talked that talk, I just back up the walk. Nothing I say come without receipts. Nothing. And you see, I'm still going. I'm still going. I'm still going. Now, these are pictures without Glinda. At 1 o'clock in the morning. Chicago time. Oh, there you go, Glinda. You just wanted to jump in a selfie, right? Me and that lady forever be friends. Love her to death. Here's another selfie, Glinda. Right outside the lawn on Trump Towers. A day before your birthday. When I had Rob sing happy birthday to you. And you gave me the envelope and you watched me put it in the Sprinter. And nobody was there. The backside of Trump. The backside of Trump. Right before we went to go hooping. Oh, don't let this make you mad. But Glinda took the picture. Nothing but happy times. Nothing but happy times. Smoke'em said she told me about Rob singing to her. Right. I'm the one that made it happen. Because she was so hell-bent on, I want to see him. You took everybody else. Nothing but happy times. You don't see not one sad face out there. Not one. Not one. Check it right before we go hoop. Not one sad face. That's on the side of Trump. Right by the car tunnel. Not one sad face. And you see the beige and black Jordans. Was I a bad person here, Glinda? Was I a bad person here? Did I not know Rob then? This right in front of Nordstrom's. This the same night I put your envelope inside the Sprinter. So did I not know Rob then, Glinda? So how's it that I didn't know Rob when you ain't know nobody. But now that you linked up with a bunch of nobodies, now I don't know Rob. Make this make sense? Or wait, did I not know Rob then? When I was your little brother? Like I said, I don't play these type games with people. So let's get into this. Because I believe in shutting down liars. Check this out.
How you met Rkelly and the story behind it.
How I met Rkelly is between this guy named Dana. He said that that's his mentor. You know, he raised him and everything like that. So that's exactly how I met him. We basically, I'm from South Carolina, so you know, I got on the bus, got to Atlanta, and I ran into Dana. And that's how basically how it all happened. And you know.
Well, take us from the beginning, the start of it. When you say you got, you know, what prompted you? Tell me the Facebook story. Start from the beginning.
Okay, so the Facebook story. So Rkelly has these groups, these support groups that the fan has made for him, and there's so much. There's a lot of them. They got the King of R&B. They got the 90s of the R&B of King. It's like a lot of them. I Am My Brother's Keepers. Is so much for him that's, you know, supporting him.
Are you going to add that you got thrown out of every last one of the groups? Including him too? But let's finish.
And I think it was maybe I Am My Brother's Keeper where Dana did a live. Like somebody invited him in this group. You got to invite people in these groups. So he did a live and I'm like, oh, okay, so
of course, Lil TT.
You know, he must be know him or whatever. Maybe somebody sent him in the, you know, to be in this group. So I basically was trying to ask everybody, you know, how do y'all feel about this dude? You know, do you really think? Matter of fact, I had a couple of people come hit me up and was like, you know, I don't believe him. Then had some people like, I believe him. I think he's real. So
lies. But continue.
So the person we're talking about, just to be straight, Dana is the person who organized these groups.
No, he did not organize these groups.
So tell us who Dana is.
Dana is. Dana said.
Hold on, DJ Amazing. Hold on.
Minty. That's what he said. So I don't know what else to say. I mean, to me, I think he's a fraud at the end of the day. But
okay.
So, well, now, before I was like.
What? You believe I'm a fraud? I'm gonna make you eat them words. Let's go.
I mean, I believe him, whatever, like that. You know, we're gonna give him a shot or whatever. But
you gonna give me a shot?
Straight up fraud, not real, not just a compulsive liar at the end of the day.
Ooh. Okay, so take us now to Dana organized, or Dana reached out to you to get you involved in one of these groups with the intent to get to Rkelly.
So we did a group chat on Facebook where you can see everybody and everything like that. So that's what we did. And, you know, everybody's trying to figure out who's all going to Chicago. And I'm like, I'm not going to Chicago because, you know, I got finals, I got this. And they was like, no, you need to go to Chicago. Like, I want everybody there. And I'm like, well, if I do go, it's going to be after the fact. Y'all just
exactly, Prima.
Well, I'm leaving at this time. I'm leaving on the 9th. Okay. Well, you'll see me when I get there. If you're not there, then
thank you, Smoke 'em.
So finally, I'm like, okay, I'll go. I made up my mind. I'll go, whatever, like that. Got the ticket to, you know, go.
Stop lying. You did not want to go. Everybody forced you to go because you said that you used to be Rkelly backup dancer. I'm going to put it out there. I ain't holding nobody's secret. Siobhan said you was a liar and that you never was R. Kelly backup dancer. So actually, Cindy couldn't go. Cindy live in Canada. So Cindy said, do anybody want to go? Because I can't go. So I want to send somebody else since we're doing a rally. Jasmine said, okay, I will go. Cindy paid for her ticket to get there from Canada. Let's continue.
Quite naturally, I did take the megabus. And I'm leaving from Columbia, South Carolina to get to Atlanta, and then Atlanta and Chicago. So I had to take 2 different buses. And then not only that, I probably had to wait a couple of hours for the next bus to come. And in the midst of waiting, there go Dana in Atlanta. And we, you know, basically that's how we met up, right there in Atlanta. And I wasn't even thinking about him at that moment. I'm like, I just can't believe I'm actually going to Chicago. Like, I got the tickets to...
Where? Oh, let's see what else you say.
To Chicago, as a matter of fact, you know. And we both was sitting in the back.
Thank you, Denise. You was there.
Just me and him back there. And, you know, we were talking about the whole case and everything. And he tried to do side conversations with me, like, you should let me love you, sending me his private parts and stuff like that. And I'm like, nah, but did you see this picture of what this chick posted about him? Like, yeah, go ahead and send that to me. But no, for real, you need to let me love you. And I'm like, but did you see this? Like, I'm trying to brush it all off, you know.
What?
Shabazz told y'all to use the eagle eye, right? Shabazz told y'all to use the eagle eye. Here's why.
When we finally get to Chicago, you know.
Wait. So I sent you nude pictures? I tried to have side conversations? But I thought you said that we all was asleep and you was on one side of the bus in the back and I was on the other side of the bus. Because that was a 16-hour ride on a megabus. That was my first and last time on a megabus going there. Okay, let's finish.
Trying to, like, go ahead and depart ways. Like, you go your way, I go my way. But that didn't happen.
What?
He basically was like, you might as well come and stay with me, hang out with me or whatever like that. I'm like, no, I got somebody else to go meet up with, you know. I'll check you later or whatever like that. But that didn't go as planned. I ended up hanging out with him, and, you know, when we got to the Airbnb, I guess the little sex whatever happened, and
What do you mean? Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you? I see what I'm saying. I thought... No, so, you know what I'm saying? That you done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
No, you done fucked up, don't you? No, don't you? No, you done fucked up.
So, when we got to Chicago, that's when the sex happened. No. When we got to Chicago, I asked her, where are you going? Because you part of the support group. I'm not going to leave you out here by yourself. And she said, no, I'm going to stand here until court. Court was the next day. I said, nah, I'm not going to let that happen. She was stinking. So when we arrived in Chicago, we went to my Airbnb. And she said, that's when the sex happened. Stop. No. Dana come with receipts. This is what happened.
That's
yeah,
nice.
I don't know what happened, but I think Facebook kind of cut me off my own live.
I blame me too. They did it.
That's cool. That's cool.
I'm ready to take this down.
Mr. Rana Burt, I look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Y'all ain't think I was coming. I told y'all. Chicago, I'm here.
I'm not telling nobody I'm in Chicago.
I'm telling you what I'm about to do.
Only for a couple people know.
I'm about to chill, lay back, watch some little basketball that I ain't get to watch last night.
Yeah, you was snoring.
Woo!
The bullshit lies, you do snore.
Bruh, you could have gave him a quarter. Man, I ain't getting that nigga
You
shit.
could've gave him a...
Watch this. For somebody who don't want to be around somebody, pay attention to the backstory that's being told in the background. Fuck what I'm saying. Listen to what she's saying. Yo, I'm here.
I'm not telling nobody I'm in Chicago.
I'm telling you what I'm about to do. I said, Chicago, I'm here. And she said, we happy. Listen. Chicago, I'm here.
I'm not telling nobody I'm in Chicago.
I'm telling you what I'm about to do.
Only for a couple people know.
I'm about to chill, lay back, watch some little basketball that I ain't get to watch last night.
Yeah, you was snoring.
Woo!
The bullshit lies.
Yeah, you was snoring. We was on a bus last night. So how you know I'm snoring? What? Wait. How do you know I'm snoring if I'm sending you dick pics? Make this make sense. Listen.
You do snore.
Bruh, you could have gave him. Listen. Last night.
Yeah, you was snoring.
Woo!
The bullshit lies, you do snore.
Bruh, you could have gave him a quarter. Man, I ain't getting that nigga
You
shit.
could have gave him a quarter. You right, we could have gave him a quarter. Right.
Fuck y'all. I ain't getting no
We
shit.
could have gave him a quarter.
Listen. Dude said, Dana, you could have gave him a quarter. And she said, yeah, you right. We could have gave him a quarter. Listen.
Gave him a quarter. You right, we could have gave him a quarter. Right.
Fuck y'all. I ain't getting no shit.
We could have gave him a quarter. He ain't
But that nigga walked up and flopped down Indian style like he was on Mortal Kombat. Nah, I ain't fucking with that. I'd have gave him a quarter. That nigga would have finished him. Took my arm off or something. Nah, I'm good. Yo, but the Airbnb I got, man, I'm thankful for it. I love it. It was cheap as fuck. I mean, cheap as fuck. The hotels where, but I was gonna stay at Trump, but them motherfuckers wanted $677 a night after discount. Nah, not me. So I started looking at Airbnbs and
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. Get unlimited data, calls, and texts with a Fi Unlimited plan, starting at just...
So that debunks that lie. So let's finish.
The little sex happened.
Like-
Tell me exactly what happened.
It was more of a... It didn't even feel like sex at the end of the day. It felt, just didn't feel like sex. It just...
So you had...
Wait a minute. It didn't feel like sex. So what is it supposed to feel like when I'm asleep and I wake up and you got my Johnson all in your throat? So what is it supposed to feel like? You giving me pleasure. You woke me up out of my sleep. And I ain't gonna front. You do more tricks with a dick than a monkey can do with a banana. So I'm gonna take you all the way through that mother. Let's finish.
Sex with Dana for the intent and purpose of what? To get closer to Rkelly, or because you wanted to, or because you feel pressured?
Wait.
I felt pressure.
Wait. I don't know Rkelly, so they say. But listen to what Shabazz asks her.
To get to Chicago, you know, I'm trying to like go ahead and depart ways. Like you go your way, I go my way. But that didn't happen. He basically was like, you might as well come and stay with me, hang out with me or whatever like that. I'm like, no, I got somebody else to go meet up with, you know, I'll check you later or whatever like that. But that didn't go as planned. I ended up hanging out with him, and, you know, when we got to the Airbnb, I guess the little sex whatever happened, and
What do you mean? What do you mean the little sex happened? Tell me exactly what happened.
It was more of a... It didn't even feel like sex at the end of the day. It felt,
So where did I rape you at? Where did this rape allegations come from? A narrative of Don Russell that he put in your head. And all of y'all try to run with that.
Just didn't feel like sex. It just...
So you had sex with Dana for the intent and purpose of what? To get closer to R. Kelly, or because you wanted to, or because you
I'm about to get there, Prima.
I felt pressured, but I guess
right.
In a sense, it probably was to see R. Kelly, but it was pressure at the end of the day because I don't have to have sex with Dana to go see no R. Kelly. I don't have to. You know, I could just sit outside the Trump Towers and be like, hey, you know, I'm trying to see R. Kelly. I don't have to have sex to see him, but people gonna say what they want to say. They're gonna say, oh, she was trying to get with R. Kelly at the end of the day. So I mean, hey, if that's how that is, then all right, cool.
So you now have sex with Dana.
Mm-hmm.
What happens after that?
We end up going to sleep. The next day, you know, Dana popped up.
But where did I rape you at? We end up going to sleep. The next day. Well, what happened the rest of that day? How did we meet up with Denise at Trump? How did Denise pay for your food at Trump? How did R. Kelly start cracking on you at Trump? How did you and Sylvia get into it at Trump? How did Sylvia and Demetria get into it at Trump? Here we go. Say it again, Denise. She said she wanted to because what? She said she did because she wanted to because she didn't have nowhere to stay.
Listen, I'm about to go and see Rob. I'm like, you taking me with you? Because, you know, I want to go see him too, so you taking me with you.
Hold up, wait. Watch this.
R. Kelly, I don't have to. You know, I could just sit outside the Trump Towers and be like, hey, you know, I'm trying to see R. Kelly. I don't have to have sex to see him, but people gonna say what they want to say, and they're gonna say, oh, she was trying to get with R. Kelly at the end of the day. So, I mean, hey, if that's how that is, then all right, cool.
So you now have sex with Dana.
Mm-hmm.
What happens after that?
We end up going to sleep. The next day, you know, Dana popped up and was like, listen, I'm about to go and see Rob. I'm like, you taking me with you? Because, you know, I want to go see him too, so you taking me with you. You're not going to leave me here, basically. We get to the Trump Towers, and he's talking to somebody on the phone. I didn't know it was a female. I don't know who it was. So I'm thinking it's Rob. Like, oh, he's talking to R. Kelly. Like, okay, so this is kind of real. Like, he might be telling the truth, you know. But it was a lady, and we get there, and we're just sitting, you know. I'm like, gets back on the phone with her again. Oh, we're here. So I'm sitting there saying, oh, he really is talking to her. But once again, it's this lady. So the lady comes downstairs.
Yeah.
And we're basically talking and everything like that, and we see the lawyers walk through the door. The first one was Douglas. I was like, that's Douglas, and I remember him from Twitter because he retweeted me. So I'm like, oh, you know, like, he finally walked up to us, and he started having a conversation with me. Like, he's like, yo, you know, I just gotta check.
That's a lie. Doug walked in, grabbed me. Dana, what's up? And Jasmine was sitting right next to Denise that's in the chat right now, and she started getting jealous. The second lawyer that came up was Greenberg. Greenberg was like, yo, Dana, what's going on? Jasmine said, well, Dana, damn, everybody know you. How about you introduce us to them? But let's finish.
My own hotel room, they didn't fix it right, so I basically got all my stuff with me, you know. And then next thing you know, Greenberg walks through the door, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's Greenberg, you know, like, he's here too, so I guess this is real. I guess, you know, R. Kelly does live here, and I guess Dana said what he said, you know. But me trying to talk to the lawyers and, you know, trying to just talk to them and tell them, you know, like, I'm a big fan of you guys, like, you know, y'all doing your job or whatever like that. So before I could say anything, here comes Dana jumping in. To me, sound like a groupie. Oh, can I take a picture of you guys? Like, can you, you know, take
What? Oh, hell no. I jump in and say, can I take a picture? What?
with me? And I'm like, are you serious? What grown man gonna do this? Take a picture with them.
Okay.
This is not his page.
What you said what for?
I'm on live. But now this is after the sexual encounters. Do she sound like somebody who don't want to be around me? Listen.
This is not his page.
What you said what for?
I'm on live. But I'll tell you about that. Y'all know y'all. I know some people like, oh, Dana fat. Dana fat. Nah, look at this. It's all this right here. All the shirt, all the jacket. Yo, but I'm gonna go live from Trump Towers. Just giving y'all a little bit of what's going on. Letting y'all know that breaking news is very simple. If you're on Facebook, I need y'all to tag everybody on y'all or share with everybody on y'all friend list. This will be, and I'm calling for everybody to boycott Uber. I'll post receipts on why. Also, boycott Facebook. I'll post receipts on why about that as well. There is an alternative, and there is an alternative, and the alternative is blackjunction.com. www.blackjunction.com. If you're an Android user, the app is ready to go. iPhone users, Right, progress. iPhone users, the app will be up very soon, if not by the end of this week. What's going on? So, I am going to use their platform to tell everybody after Thursday goodbye. Y'all can catch me on blackjunction.com. That's www.blackjunction.com. Go over there now. Sign up. Let's get Black Junction going. Facebook, do blackjunction.com. Instagram for us. Feel me? Straight from the group. Yeah, y'all don't pay my sister no mind. She is going in today, and she's supposed to be at work. I wonder if your supervisors know that you are on Facebook and not. Hey, I'm the boss. I do what I want. Jackie says. And if your legal standing ain't right, they gonna dog walk y'all. I gotta pick function.com. Let's make a. Let's go see. Is a T-Mobile phone store around here? Anyway? People got run from status change. Yeah. Chapo. They have to. That's the niche right there. That's the lady that she failed to realize. And then on top of that, let's go here. This the same lady that she called last year when she was walking the streets of Atlanta and asked her, can she have me let her in my house so that way she can have somewhere to stay. But I'm a groupie. Let's finish. T-Mobile by Walgreens. All right, come on, let's go see. Is a T-Mobile phone store around here? Anyway.
There's one right here on Michigan Avenue in Ohio. There's a big T-Mobile store.
How far is that?
It's just like 2.5 blocks away.
Okay. So which way would I go?
You have to sit in the back door.
What up, Justin?
Past the Rkelly building. The first street is Michigan Avenue. Make a left.
Okay,
Stay
so
on
I gotta go out the back
left
door?
side of Michigan.
All right.
And you're gonna walk like probably 4 blocks away.
Okay.
To the left side.
Thank you so much. Man, I'm telling y'all, blackjunction.com is a new way to go. So is he here? Is he here, Jack? I know you're talking about now. But yo, I'm gonna show y'all a scene. Look at this. Look at this.
Stop paying full price on Best.
This is crazy. It's really cold out here, y'all. I want y'all to pay attention to these steps right here. Because on Tuesday, I'm going to show these steps again. It's crazy. It's really cold out here, y'all. Look at this. Man, it's really cold out here. Yo, but I wish I had my man Dave out here. Me and Dave would do a split challenge.
It's a Walgreens right here, though.
Nah, I just gotta get a charger, cause this charger.
Did you want to try Walgreens?
Hell no.
Oh, okay. I just
Hell no. But them Walgreens chargers be like, can't do it. But yeah, y'all. Then would they? Okay, definitely. But I had to act accordingly in them folks. You won't catch DanaJay on Facebook no more. It's cold because of the water. I love God. You don't love God. What's wrong? I don't support Lifetime. I don't support growing up in hip hop Atlanta. I don't support Facebook, and I'm using their platform because I know I'm gonna get blocked one day this week. So I ain't worried about it because I'm leaving Facebook. Look. So not only was she there, but let's wait. Here we go again. I got donkey. I got everybody. Ooh, I got the best of both worlds. I got the mellow, I got the nice.
Where you see Mellow at?
I got the.
Yeah, where you see Mellow at?
I got the kiss my ass version.
Oh yeah, who's the kiss my ass?
The kiss my ass version.
Yep, Shirley's right. My whole entire. That's not Mellow.
She's mellow.
No, this is the one who always get kicked off. She's the one starting the beef. We got to go.
That's this one.
No, it's not. It's those two. It's these two. Trust me. What you mean? How
Trust
me.
me.
It's these two.
Yeah, you can't start no shit like that.
No.
What up, y'all? Team Kells. I'm letting y'all know after court shenanigans. This is what we do. Team Kells, we're here. If y'all can hear me, let me get some hearts, let me get some thumbs up. But everybody's gonna give their own opinion and their own account. What's up, Cuzzo? Everybody gonna give their own opinion, their own account of what they felt in court today. We coming live from Trump Plaza, baby. So I know. I just turned. Sorry. Oh, your edges kind of fleek a little bit. But
that's a mole.
No, your edges. I just touched your mole, but your edge right there.
Oh, it wasn't.
It was kind of sticking up.
Oh, okay.
But anyway.
You know what? I can't take. You so extra.
What's good, Chris? Everybody gonna give their account about how they felt in court and everything today. She said, I ain't getting no camp. Somebody watching me.
I ain't say it like that.
So, I ain't say it like that. But anyway, y'all. Who can I call up? Who can I start with? Cut Sausage out. Cut Sausage out.
Did you say call a midget?
I said no. I didn't say call a midget. I said who I want to start with.
I am not the shortest in
You know
this
what?
room. It's her.
Thank you for talking. Come here for
I'm
me.
not doing that. Not right now.
Oh, you're not
I
doing.
don't want to be on camera, but I will say this. I feel like the two chicks were really unorganized.
The three.
Whatever. I don't give a damn who they was. I just feel like they were really.
Oh, the one that came last night?
If you ain't getting, you know you can't talk on camera. Remember you said I'm not talking on camera. Say I'm
I
talking.
can talk where I want to. I'm just not on camera.
I mean, but
That's my opinion, you know.
Thank you, ma'am.
I was late, but I know everyone that wasn't on Kel's team was full of shit.
Exactly.
Period.
okay. That's how we kicked it off. What's up, Jermaine? What's up? So what I'm gonna do is Antoinette, give me your account of what was going on. Can you see yourself?
Yep. I felt like the judge was being fair and leaving room for more information to be brought to him for the motion, and that's about it. That really wasn't too much going on in there today. But hopefully next time.
So how did you feel walking into the courtroom?
Pretty good. I didn't feel like he was just defeated. Like, you know, I think it's room for explanation and everything else like that. I really felt good about that today. I felt like he had a lot of support there, and it's a good look when the courtroom is semi-filled and it's not even your blood family. It's people from all over the world coming to support you.
So once you got to enter into the courtroom and you sat down, was it like a shift in the atmosphere that you felt? Was it like an eerie feeling or something?
Not until I seen that lady, honestly, until I see that lady roll that card in and it looked like Rkelly was on every envelope on top. But then when I seen her put one up, hand the lady one, the prosecutor one, and rolled it back out, that's the only time I felt anything. Other than that, I felt Rkelly just was doing excellent. Lawyer and everything. Everybody was nice and content, wasn't acting out, you know.
So if you can tell the public about the case, about Robert, about Rkelly.
I know why you're rocking.
Words, after being around him and really understanding and getting a grip of who he was, what would you say?
A really mild-mannered man. Don't be quick to judge. Stop it, cut it out. Do a little research if you feel like you need to. If you don't. But just don't judge. Be so quick to judge somebody. That could be your brother, be your father, that could be anybody. And like I tell my group all the time, I really wasn't never a fan. It's just about being another human being.
So did anybody else in the group have a question that they want to give Miss Antoinette? Anybody got anything they want to say?
I will say.
Move up. Move over, Karen.
What's good, everyone? How's everyone doing out there in Facebook land? Let me tell you, today was a great day. Since the previous court dates, and we've been seeing Kells come, we saw more people today than we have seen in a long time show up and participate and show this man in the world that he is loved, that we believe in him, and that, you know, justice is supposed to be given. And today was that day. What I felt in that courtroom, it was love, it was strength, it was power. And it has to happen in numbers. A lot of people didn't get the chance to make it. Sorry that some of you couldn't make it. And some of you said you were coming and you did not come. I'm sorry still that you could not make it. However, the people who did come, Kells felt that love and he appreciated that love. Now, as far as this man's character, he's nothing of the sort. The things that the media is telling. He's not a monster. He's not a Chester molester. He's not a pedophile. He's none of those things. He's a man that has been taken advantage of. And if you was to see this man outside of music and see him in his raw, this man is not
right, J-Rock.
any of those things. I can promise you that with everything in my body, every fiber in me. That's not who Robert is.
So question, here's my question. With you saying that, how did you feel walking up to the courtroom today?
I felt great. I felt that victory. Because see, when I have something on my mind and I'm determined that we're going to win, that's what I'm claiming. He even told you that in his song. If you believe it, you can achieve it. I'm a manifestation woman.
We ain't talking about
I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you. Period. That's life. It ain't what you put in your mouth, it's what comes out of your mouth. You understand? So once you understand that art and how that works, you will get that. So if you speak positive and you got on your mind nothing but positive, that's what's going to come. That's the way I'm creating my world around me. So Robert has become a part of my world now. So everything is positive.
After this, share everybody, throw them hearts out there, throw them thumbs up out there. Next up, we got Demi from Team Kells. I see you back. You see Lolo, right? This is the day that Jasmine was all over him. We got Demi from Team Kells. I see you back there, boy. We got Demi from Team Kells. Hold on. Oh. Well, I mean, just let me know when it's in front of you.
It's in front of me now?
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Demi, as he said. And like she said, we was up moving around about 6:15, ready to go. Team Kells out the way. We went to court today. As you can see, ready to do it. I'm with Kells all the way. I have 3 boys and a daughter, and they all are behind me. This team, do you get your life together? This team, and they are very proud of us. And when we went to court today, and we sat there, me personally, I seen the other side. They didn't have their stuff together. Kells team, we got this. He's going home. We ain't got nothing to worry about. If any of you guys have any doubts, do your research. We stay up all night. Half of us work. Some of us don't get any sleep. We wake up, praying stuff, calling each other. So if you have any questions, just do your research. Hit us up on Instagram, anywhere, because we got all the answers you need to hear.
So question, when you first got to the front of the courthouse today,
you need the charger. Get it out for her.
okay.
Sorry about that. I also know.
Man down. Down now. We turn it around now. You not ready? All right. So I guess you know what I mean? I guess you. Jazzy. What do you want to say, Jazz?
She left the floor on fire, so I don't know if they can hear me. But I agree with that message, and that's a powerful message.
And before the retired slave get on there, what you got to say?
It's just a lot right now. It's a lot, and everybody need to chill out on this stuff right here.
So Jazzy, by you being one of the close people, because you got to spend some time that other folks will never get. What if you had to speak on Robert's character, what would it be?
He is gentle. He is nice. I don't know if there's a word called overly nice, but he's overly nice, and he's a gentleman. He's not a monster that y'all making him out to be. Like, he is super, super nice. Like, hands down, just a nice guy. I don't see the monster. Where is it?
And what I mean by she got to see some things that nobody else seen, she got to ride in the Sprinter, and she tried to sit on Rkelly's lap, and Rkelly made her sit on some Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? But she did get to ride in the Sprinter. No, she didn't have alone time with Robert. Let's finish.
I haven't seen it.
Where is it? That's a good question.
There is no monster.
Where is the monster?
There is no monster, you know. He's just nice. He's a nice guy.
He's a monster when it comes to his music.
So, I guess it come to me. So now I got everybody that's gonna ask me questions, and I'm gonna answer them to the best of. I'm gonna say this: y'all gotta go look at that. But I understand why people mad. I'm gonna show them why people mad. And I do want to say this. Shout out to Shabazz, because Shabazz did hit me up, and I made it so that everybody else got to see. At the end of the day, I was the first one to ask Shabazz to take me out of the documentary due to the fact that I didn't like, one, I heard that Angelo had a vested interest in it, and I ain't want no parts of that. Second thing is, I seen the trailer, the way Lisa was trying to make Rob look like a monster. So that's why I didn't, want to be part of that, because of what I seen at that point. So that's why I asked Shabazz to take me out, and Shabazz agreed, and it was what it was. At first it was bad blood, but now there's no bad blood. There's no beef between me and that man. And a lot of people mad because me and him didn't beef. You know what I'm saying? So check it. Here it go. This why them niggas mad. Again, I'm gonna say this. Social media, they took it and they ran with it. Mute Rkelly and Miss Bonds. They were very vocal, and they were very expedient on social media. But what I've come to realize is that anything positive that can help Rkelly, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, will delete it, and they will put you in what they call their platform jail. But anything negative, even if you report it to the highest level, they keeps it there, and they tell you they don't see no standards being violated. I think that's very double standard. And then I'm gonna use myself. I was on Instagram. I built my platform up. I had over 15,000 followers. Matter of fact, I went hard and for Rkelly for a month and a half, and my whole account been suspended, and they told me that I'm a dangerous to the community. So basically, they put me in the same category as the guy that brought out Hidden Color 5 and Louis Farrakhan.
Why is there such a passion in defense of Rkelly with you?
Well,
what role did you play in the Rkelly camp?
Well, the thing is this. It's very passionate, and I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. 1, because Rob is my mentor. That's the first thing. 2, he took me from a knucklehead dude, made sure I was good, shaped me, and then made me go through college and all that. And I'm the strong young man that I am today. 3, even if I didn't know him, the injustice alone will make me go hard. Because at the end of the day, my son can be next. My son's son can be next. So at the end of the day, it's not just about me knowing him and me having a ties of so many years with him. It's the injustice that's done to him that no other person is really looking at. Or if they are looking at it, nobody's speaking up about it. But I guess they got to hit home first and for them to speak up about it.
Why do you think there's so many people that want to be quiet, especially celebrities, concerning Rkelly? Tell us exactly.
So I'm just saying. I'm just giving you a little bit of that, you know what I mean? Just giving you a little bit of it. I understand the hate. I understand the realization of it. I understand it all. But I will say this. At one point in time, y'all was over here with me. until the circumcision happened. Now, y'all on the opposite side of the tracks. Y'all are now my ops. And now that y'all my ops, I just choose not to indulge with y'all. Because y'all goofy. Y'all know the truth, but y'all want to run with a lie. So with that being said, I'm going to run with all truth. Even with Bedbug. I'm about to get up out of here. But Bedbug came up, said, F your 24 hours, nigga, this and this and this and this and this and this and this. Bro, did you forget?
Over and over and over and over and over again. Since y'all in the bushes watching. Let me say it again. Rkelly ain't no different than a dope dealer singer. And let me break it down to you slow motherfuckers again. Because I'm going to say it again. Just like the drug dealer sell drugs and all the women flocks to him, Rkelly don't sell drugs. He's just a singer and all the women flocks with him because he got that bag. Just like a dope dealer got that bag. They flock to the money. He ain't no different than a drug dealer who got the bag. Slow ass people. Oh, God. He says, Rkelly, a dope singer. Well, let's go here then.
I'll play it again.
Over and over and over and over and over again. Since y'all in the bushes watching. Let me say it again. Rkelly ain't no different than a dope dealer singer. And let me break it down to you slow motherfuckers again. Because I'm going to say it again. Just like the drug dealer sell drugs and all the women flocks to him, Rkelly don't sell drugs. He's just a singer and all the women flocks with him because he got that bag. Just like a dope dealer got that bag. They flock to the money. He ain't no different than a drug dealer who got the bag. Slow ass people. Oh, God. He says, Rkelly, a dope singer. Well, let's go here then.
I'm lost. I will not argue with a person who can't talk. I will not argue with a person who can't formulate sentences. I won't argue with a person who can't understand a difference between an upload from 2020 and 2019 versus a now updated joint because they want to have something to beef about. It is what it is. At the end of the day, rest in peace to the young boy he murdered. Yeah. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. Mighty Spade, what up, bro? So, it's late. I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah, what's up? This your homeboy Ice Cube. You know what it is, the West Coast Warlord, the Grand Wizard. Don Mega is in the house. Now check this out. I'm inviting you to join the official Black People Social Network. WeGotUps.com. That's WeGotUps.com. 100% black owned, man. I see you, Hill Boys. I see you. You out there doing it, man. And as we say in the Big Three League, we got ups, baby. So WeGotUps.com. Check it out, man. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, black people, we definitely need to socialize, get together, figure out this system we all going through. So, you know, WeGotUps.com promises to be that place. Like I said, black owned. Gotta love it. And, you know, willing to make sure that you guys make a social connection. So WeGotUps.com. you know, from your homeboy Ice Cube. Got to throw up the dub, you know, for that. You know what I'm saying? And hey man, official Black People Social Network. You know, I get it right. Don't worry about nothing. Just join, man. Join the official Black People Social Network. WeGotUps.com. WeGotUps.com, man. That's easy, man. We got ups, baby. We got ups. Your homeboy Ice Cube, and I'm out. Throwing up the dub for We Got Ups, man. Check it out.
Don't forget Tuesday. Very important live. Shout out to Tomorrow Leader Sports Network. What up, Coach Walker? You know what I mean? Don't forget his page, y'all. Don't forget all the pages that support the Dream Team and that on the Dream Team. Georgia Girl, Tomorrow Leader Sports Network, Levi for Kelly, Fantasia, Sky Zone, Prima Donna, Brooke Valentine, Senator Sane. I mean, it goes on and on. Of course, DanaJay, Big Vibe Opinion. It goes on and on and on. And we steady expanding. So check it. I love every last one of y'all. And I'm up out of here. Also, remember, when you go see the Doctor Strange versus the Metaverse, they talking about now time. Look at it from a different lens. DanaJay about. Y'all be blessed. Love every last one of y'all. I'm going to go watch the last 2 minutes of this Dallas-Utah game. Dallas up 113-106. All right, peace.
Swimming in you. Hey, little mama. Said I wanna take a dip in your pool. Just go for a little dive, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.